Yo, you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to another TNI toy review. And for today, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Walmart exclusive G.I. Joe classified 6-inch retro cardback Gung-Ho figure from Hasbro. Now, this just arrived today from Walmart, and unfortunately, because Walmart shipped these in padded envelopes as opposed to boxes, my cardback got a little bent out of shape. I actually got today both Lady J and Gung Ho, and both of them came in envelopes as opposed to boxes, and both of them definitely got bent up and creased. So, on top of that, I will tell you that these cardbacks that Hasbro, the material that Hasbro used for these cardbacks is really thin, thin cardboard. So it's going to bend very easily. So, my opinion is being able to collect this line mint on card is not going to be easy. I know you can get these off of Pulse, or you could. They may be sold out, I'm not sure, but they were also offered on Pulse, so you probably will have a better shot at getting these mint on card from Hasbro Pulse, since they will at least put these in boxes, I assume. But yeah, even still, the cardboard is just very thin material. I don't know why Hasbro doesn't use a thicker material for these, since one of the main appeals obviously is the actual packaging. But, this is made to look like the original toy line packaging. You've got the file card on the back. You've got other figures. These are other Walmart exclusive figures. And, of course, on the front, you have that classic artwork for Gung-Ho. Now, the thing about this one, this is probably the coolest of these retro figures, I think, because this one is, very different from the regular release Gung-Ho that we got. This is much more his traditional look with the light blue colors and everything. So I ended up, I actually bought two of these so I could keep one on card and one I could open. Now, I've only gotten one so far from Walmart. I don't know when the second one's going to show up, and likely that one's not going to come in much better shape. But definitely this is going to be the one that I open. So let's go on and get it open and take a closer look inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging along with the other contents. So you get pretty much totally different accessories with this version of Gung-Ho over the regular one. And like with the coloring on the figure, the accessories are much more in keeping with the original toy. Okay, so he comes with a gun that is, again, much more in keeping with the original artwork and the gun that came with the original toy. This one is done in just black. It's black plastic. You've got the strap. But again, this is much more in keeping with his original weapon that he came with, as opposed to these kind of futuristic weapons that we got with the regular version release, which frankly are just annoying to get the figure to hold. This one is really the only one that's remotely easy to get him to hold. So I'm definitely glad that we've got this new updated rifle that looks much more in keeping with the original toy. We also get a different backpack done in that light sky blue color, again in keeping with the original toy. Now, unlike the one that came with the regular figure, this one does not have any place to hold additional weapons. Not that the other backpack really did a very good job of that, because the weapons would always fall out. But again, this is much more in keeping with how the backpack on the original figure looked. And of course, it works the same way. You just plug it into the figure's back. You do want to match it up with the hole in the coat, but it does fit on there nice and tight. You get a couple of extra weapons. You get a knife and a pistol that fit in holsters and a sheath that are on the figure. So this isn't really something that we got on the original figure, but it is something that they've included on this one. And again, you have the working gun holster, and the holster is a separate piece on the figure, so it will kind of move around on you. You also have to make sure that you kind of pull out the rubber on the holster so that the gun will fit in there. But once you get it in there, it does fit pretty good. And then also, he's got the sheath down here on the left leg, and the knife just slides in there. So again, holds those pretty good. The knife actually stays in there pretty loose, so that you do want to watch if you put the figure upside down or something. Actually, I think if you turn it that way, it'll stay tighter in the sheath. So Basically, you want to make sure you get the knife in the right direction, or it will fall out real easy. And the gun itself, again, stays in there really good. And then finally, you get this G.I. Joe display base. It's got the G.I. Joe star logo on it. This is kind of reminiscent of the display bases, the little figure stands that came with the 25th anniversary. However, you do not get the figure's name on it like you did with those. It is just a blank figure stand. And you do get 2 pegs on this. Okay, so let's take a look at the figures, and first let's just look at the 2 together, the new one and the original release figure. And for the most part, it is the same figure, same legs, different paint applications, same boots, different paint applications. This side thing, these grenades or whatever you want to call these, are the same, though you've got nicer paint detail on the new figure with the gold and then the light blue, but it is the same. Now you do have the addition of the gun holster on this figure, as well as the knife sheath on the new figure, which were not included on the original figure. You had these wrist things on the regular figure, which are not included on the new figure. You just have the painted wrist bands on the figure, which you had on this one as well, but again, you had these extra pieces that they added to the figure on the original release. Now, the tattoo on the figure is the same design. However, they've made it bigger on the new Walmart exclusive version. It was much smaller on the original release. And with, this is not the same tattoo design as was on the original figure. The original figure had the Marine Corps symbol on his chest. I don't know if the reason why they went with this different one is because of, they're not able, they don't have the rights to use the Marine Corps symbol on the figure. I'm not sure, but that is different from the original figure. But again, it is much bigger on this new figure as opposed to that original one. Now the torsos and the arms appear to be the same. The heads, I believe, are different. They seem to have different expressions. You have like more wrinkles on the forehead with this one. The head looks a little more round on the new one. I think it's more in keeping with Gung-Ho, in my opinion. This one, I don't know. He always looked like some older guy or something. It just came off to me. I also never liked this mustache. I like the mustache they gave him on this new figure much better, which again is more in keeping with the original figure. They also got rid of the mohawk, which I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but they got rid of the mohawk, which I'm glad. So he's completely bald on this new figure. Now the vests are also completely different. Both are removable, obviously, but they are completely different designs. Again, this new one is a lighter blue. It's more in keeping with the original figure. You've got just the 2 pouches with the 2 grenades on the front, whereas the new one had all kinds of things going on with it. You had the grenades on the side. I mean, this wasn't a bad looking vest, but just because I'm a fan of the original look for Gung-Ho, I definitely like this new vest. Okay, and then here's a look at the figures with their vests on, and you can see this vest is longer. It comes all the way down to the figure's waist. The new one does not, which is in keeping with, again, the original figure. And then finally, we have the hats, which of course are removable, and they do fit well on the figure, so you don't really have to worry about them falling off. But they are different hats, besides just being a darker color on the new one. They have, this one has that bird symbol on the front. I think it's supposed to be the Marine Corps symbol, but again, I have a feeling that they're probably not able to use that. This one just had like a square on it. It was very, plain. And then even the tops are sculpted a little bit different. This one, the new one, is definitely more in keeping with how the hat he wore in the original, comics and cartoon and everything. So this figure stands right about 7 inches tall. So he is taller than a regular G.I. Joe figure, and I'll give you some comparisons. And then as far as, compared to the regular release version, they are about the same height. So height-wise, they're pretty close to the same. Maybe the regular version is just a smidgen taller. Maybe that's just his hat, really, but they're pretty much the same height. And here's a comparison with the 25th anniversary Gung-Ho 3 3/4 inch figure. Sorry, I don't have an original O-ring Gung-Ho to give you a comparison of. Here's a comparison of the Amazon exclusive classic Roadblock figure, and these two are pretty close to the same height. These guys were always like the big muscle men on the G.I. Joe team. And then finally, here's a comparison with all of the original Joes that we've gotten so far in the classified line. So Scarlet, Snake Eyes, Breaker, and Duke. So articulation is pretty much on par with the original release of Gung-Ho. You can turn the head all the way around. He can look down really good, and then he can actually look up pretty good as well. With the arms, you can get the arms out good. He does have those butterfly type joints, so you get some back and forth movement. He's got good rotation at the arm. He's got the bicep swivel. He's got double hinged elbows, so pretty good bending there. You've got the rotation with the hands. You have hinges on the hands, so up and down movement. He does have an ab crunch, so he can crunch forward good, and he can go back pretty good there. You might be careful because you might, as you slide that joint, it might scratch your tattoo a little bit, so just be careful when you're using the ab crunch. You've got a rotation there at the waist. The legs you can kind of pull out and do forward, and you can do kind of out and back. He can do the splits really good. And then you've got a thigh swivel up high. You've got double jointed knees, so good bending there at the knee. You get a boot cuff swivel. You get hinges on the feet. You get ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. And overall, I love this figure. You know, this to me is how Gung-Ho should look. I was never very happy with the regular release version. I know it's more modernized and maybe more, in keeping with how somebody would be in the military, though I don't think somebody would be going around with just a vest and no shirt on, period. But to me, this is just what Gung-Ho should look like. And I'm very happy with it. Now, the only drawback to this figure is if you're going to try and keep it on the card back, the material they use for those card backs is very thin material, very thin cardboard. It is going to bend very easily, especially if you get it from Walmart. The chances of it coming on mint on card are going to be slim to none. I'm pretty sure it's still available. This figure is still available on Walmart's website. I'm not sure if it's still available on the Pulse, but if it is, that's probably the better route that you would want to go to get this figure if you want to try and have it mint on card. Even if you find this in store, my guess is you're going to find them with, creased card backs and stuff, because they still have to ship to the store. They still have to be unpacked from the store. They still have to be put out on the shelf. And it's just a very thin material that has to be used with these card backs. But the figure itself, I think, is gorgeous. It's dead on to the original, how the character looked originally. And I'm very happy with it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about it down in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.